Good morning, good morning. Hi, happy Monday. I am Melissa Agnes, if you didn't already know that, and this is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space for leaders to come to remember what's true, remember what's real, get grounded in yourself, in your power, in your alignment, so that you can step into your day with power. I don't know what happened. I don't know if, okay, we're good. We're good. LinkedIn just turned off. Oh, okay. I think we're good. I'm glad I was there to see that. Okay, I'm sorry. I just got totally distracted. We'll keep going. Yeah, so this is a daily space. So if you're doing work that matters, which you are, work that matters to me means work that creates positive impact on the world. Work that ultimately, for me personally, my core values, yours can be different, means that you're doing something to create a little bit less pain and suffering in the world. That is work that matters. That is why I show up, is to support you in the work that you do that matters. So if you're looking for a place where you can feel steady, where you can be inspired to go deep into your own groundedness, for clarity, for connection, this is why I show up every single morning. So Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, live simultaneously on LinkedIn and Instagram. I am here to share one anchoring message, one remembrance, not opinion. If I share an opinion, I will state that it is my opinion. I share things that I know to be true and that I hope will inspire and empower you in the ways that you deserve and the world needs while you do the work that matters. And then following that, we do a 10-minute grounding to get into coherence, to get into alignment, to get into deep clarity, to get into power, your inner strength, your inner power, all the things. So what I like to say came out of me one day when I was talking about these morning lives is that I'm not necessarily here to teach you anything new. I'm simply here to remind you of what's true and what's real. And so with that, I think it's more important than ever that we do this every morning. If you know of people who this would benefit, please share my profile with them. Please invite them to join live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, LinkedIn and IG. There is a lag. So for example, Judith, you just wrote good morning. Good morning, Judith. You'll only hear me say good morning to you in about 30-45 seconds. So bear with the lag. It's just comes with the streaming. Okay. And that being said, when it comes to the grounding part of it, there is no wrong. There is no way to do it wrong. It is self-exploration. It is self-connection. It is self-alignment. It is self-empowerment. Okay, so I knew what I was going to talk about this morning several hours ago. I wake up at like 5:36 every morning. I ground myself and I feel into what's today's message. What wants to come through me? What am I going to share? And then right before going live, I was in bed by like 8:30 Eastern last night, so I did not watch the Grammys. And right as I was coming live, I turned on IG to go live on IG, and I heard a piece of Bad Bunny's speech. And it's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. So over the weekend, I love that. Over the weekend, I had a lot of conversations with friends who are feeling hopeless, helpless. They are not hopeless or helpless, but that's kind of the energy, the emotion that's with them is exasperation. And it's really so easy, I think, right now to look around the world and to look at the pain and suffering that's being created and to feel like there's nothing you can do about it, that it's beyond your control, quote unquote, right? Control is an illusion. We talked about that in one of these episodes. And it's so easy to let those feelings, those energies, those emotions take over. It's so easy, even for myself sometimes. It's really easy. And so here's what I know to be true. And here's what I want to share with you this morning is, in case nobody told you, you are so incredibly powerful. You are probably more powerful. Well, you are more powerful than you probably even know or realize. And there are things that you can do even in the moments where you might be feeling powerless or fearful or doubtful or hopeless or whatever it is that you might be feeling in that moment, which we all feel, especially when we look around and we think there's nothing I can do to stop this pain and suffering. Right? I've talked about how powerful your thoughts are, and I haven't even begun to scratch the surface on the reality of that power. And I've talked about vibrations in the sense of energy. We are all energy. We are all interconnected. Our emotionality is energy. Emotions are energy in motion. Okay. I've talked about fear, a lot about fear. What I haven't talked about is the power and the only thing that can overcome fear. And this is what Bad Bunny talked about, which he's so freaking spot on. I'm so grateful. So fear is the lowest vibrational emotion. When we are in as you've heard me say before, there's no such thing in my opinion as negative emotions. There's negative actions with what we do with our emotions, but no, emotions are energetic. They're energy, they're hormonal, they're chemical, right? But they're not negative or positive. They are low vibrational and high vibrational. And a long time ago, I read Seed of the Soul, which I'll put in the show notes. It was a book that, like, one of Oprah's favorite books that she keeps next to her bed and writes in and uses as a remembrance. And in that book, I learned about that there are only two vibrations or two, like, pure energies when it comes to emotionality in our world. There's fear and there's love. Fear is the lowest vibration, lowest frequency. Fear keeps people down. It keeps people suppressed, oppressed. It keeps people believing and thinking that probability is the only reality. I talked about possibility versus probability, leadership, and thinking last week, so go back and listen to that episode if you don't know what I'm talking about, because it's important. The only thing that can take us out of fear, the only thing that fights fear. We can't fight fear with fear, just like we can't fight darkness with darkness. Darkness with darkness creates more darkness. Fear with fear creates more fear. Fear is the lowest frequency. In order to counter fear with our thoughts and with our emotionality, with our energy, is tapping into love. Love, gratitude, excitement, joy, those are the highest frequencies. And just like fear can be spiraling, it can be contagious, it can be oppressing, all these things, love is also contagious. Love is what we actually come from. And the only thing that fights fear is love. And so what does that mean for you as a leader, as a human being, in the moments where you feel helpless or powerless? Your deepest power comes from your choice of thinking, the way you think, your thoughts, and your choice in your energetic vibration. Our energetic vibration and our thoughts combined together is what creates our reality, period, individually and collectively. So if you are succumbing to the fear that maybe is what is being fed, right, to you, or like whatever the case is, then you are creating more of the same. In those moments, if you can remember, or even just try to believe in the possibility of your power individually, by raising your vibrations, by raising your thoughts, by remembering that love is the only thing that overcomes fear, and that you have the power, you have the agency, you have the authority, you have everything that you need within you to choose to feel those higher vibrations and to put those out into the world rather than succumbing to the spiral, oppressive, repressive energy of fear. So what does this look like? This looks like first remembering in the moment how powerful you actually are. Your energy put out into the world is what creates our reality. Collectively, we create our reality in this world. So if you individually are putting out fear, what are you creating more of? If you individually are putting out higher vibrations and feeling into love and gratitude and joy and excitement and doing whatever you need to do to get yourself there, what are you putting out into the world? What are you creating from? And that is contagious, and that is inspiring, and that is hopeful, and that is uplifting, and that is potent and is resonant. And when we remember how potent and resonant that is, we can remember, therefore, how powerful we are individually. So when you are looking around the world, or you are in a state, in a situation, circumstantially, and you're thinking, there's nothing I can do, yes, there is. Get quiet. Get silent. Remember, go inward. Remember to choose your thinking. And remember that you have the power to choose your thoughts and to choose your vibration. And we do that together every single morning. So long as you are showing up here, at the very least, you know how to do that. I want to read to you something as a reminder as well. This comes from the book Outwitting the Devil, The Secrets to Freedom and Success by Napoleon Hill. Time is the enemy of immorality and injustice. It is the friend, time is the friend of justice and morality. Okay? So when we think that we've lost, we haven't. I just want to go back to this page. It's page 157, because then there's another piece that I want to read to you quickly. All right. In this section, Napoleon Hill continues to say, people, those, often make the mistake of coveting the temporary gains of immoral, unjust plans, but neglect to look ahead and observe the penalties which follow as definitely as night follows day. So for whatever that's worth, to give you a little bit of hope, and whatever it's worth to say, if we succumb to fear, fear wins. The only thing to combat fear, to overcome fear, to win against fear, is love. Lowest frequency, highest frequency. When you're feeling hopeless or despair or powerless, those are the moments to remember that you have all of the power that you need by choosing your thoughts and choosing your vibrations. And by choosing your vibrations, it's about putting yourself into the state where you feel love, where you feel excitement and joy and gratitude. Whatever memory you have to conjure, whatever thoughts you have to conjure, because you have the power to control your thoughts. It's the only thing that I will ever say we have the power to control. And you can raise your vibrations. And by raising your vibrations, you are doing so many beneficial, powerful, empowered things to combat the fear in our world, whether you realize it in the moment or not, whether you see it right away or not. And remember that time, let me get the words right, is the friend of justice and morality, and is the enemy of injustice and immorality. Okay, that is what I wanted to share today, so deeply. And I love that as I was coming onto this and I was like, okay, is this the right message? I saw Bad Bunny's speech from the Grammys last night. Heck yes. And that is a little bit more into what he was saying in that speech. We can't succumb to the hatred. We can't succumb to the fear. Okay, last thing that I'll say, hatred, jealousy, anger, all these things, they're not negative, but they are low frequency. They are fear-based. When you look at, if it's true, what if it's true? If it's true that there's only two energies in our world, fear and love, then therefore, every emotion we feel is either fear-based or love-based. So taking conscious thought and recognition in the moments where you are feeling fear-based thoughts, no guilt, no shame, there is nothing wrong with that. And what else is true is that you have the power to choose differently. You have the power to lean into and feel love-based thoughts, higher frequency, if you so choose, when you remember to. And last week, I'm pretty sure it was on Friday, we talked about how to move through those fear-based emotions, that fear-based energy, in 90 seconds, and then raise our vibrations to the higher frequencies. Love, joy, excitement, gratitude. And that's what we're going to practice again today in our drop-in. It is time. Let's do it. Okay, so for those of you who might be joining for the first time, we do a morning drop-in together so that, again, you can get into alignment, you can get into clarity, you can raise your vibrations. And all we do is take 10 minutes. So you can gift yourself, if you so choose, this 10 minutes. That means turning down or turning off distractions. It means truly being present with what is here now for the next 10 minutes. If you are driving, please don't do this. It's not safe. If you are doing something where you cannot be dedicated to these 10 minutes to yourself, to be in stillness, to be in quiet, to be within, then come back to the recording. These are free. I do them for you. I do them actually not for you, any one individual. I do it for us. Because when we raise our vibrations together, we make the world a better place. We fight fear. And we win. If you are in public and can get still and quiet, so you're sitting in a cafe or in a WeWork or in a cubicle or wherever you might be, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to feel silly and people are going to be judgy, let them. Because when you come out of this 10 minutes and you are in alignment and you are in clarity and you are in coherence and you are feeling your most powerful, highest vibrational frequency human self, people are going to wonder what it is you're doing, and they're going to want some because it feels good. So let yourself be the example. Let yourself lead by example. Okay, I will cue, which means that all you have to do is be present. So turning off those distractions, we will take 10 minutes starting now, and shutting down your eyes or softening your gaze, whatever feels good to you. We're just going to do the halo active breath, simple and calming, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The more deeply, the more slowly you take this breath, or this breath pattern, the more you signal, you communicate to your nervous system that you are safe. And so the more powerfully it gets into coherence and into regulation. If your mind kicks up with thoughts, that's okay. All you have to do is say, all right, I hear you. But for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be present in my body. So I'm just going to take my thoughts and I'm going to just put them right here, right outside of my brain. And I'm going to come back to you in 10 minutes. Just kind of permission. It's kind of like telling your brain that you're not neglecting it, you're not going to forget it, you will come back to it. But right now is just not the time. It's part of the ways in which we can begin to have ownership and control over our thoughts. With your next exhale, whenever that might be, invitation to follow that breath all the way down to your sit bones, where you can feel whatever it is that you're sitting on, your seat, your chair, your cushion, the floor, whatever it might be. Feel the sensations of that seat against your body. What does it feel like as you keep that breath flowing? Notice how that chair has got you, which means that you, if you so choose, are safe to sink into it and give it all of the weight that's on your shoulders, all of the tension in your body. Just be like, here, chair, this is yours now. It won't mind, I promise. And it won't drop you. And on your next inhale, through your nose, following that breath up from your sit bones into your heart space. If it feels comfortable to you, putting a hand on your heart to help you bring your awareness to this space. When we're able to bring our consciousness and our awareness to our heart, out of our head and into our heart, if fear only lives in the brain, love is what we find in our heart. Or our heart is where we find the access to viewing things through the portal of love. Fear is the lowest frequency, love is the highest. So as you bring your focus to your heart space, and this powerful, powerful tool that you have at your disposal, contained within your body, imagining that it is your heart that is taking in your breaths. So you're breathing in through your nose, but you're imagining that that air, that oxygen, is coming in through that heart space. So feeling it come in through your heart space deeply, opening up that chest cavity. And with every exhale through your mouth, allowing yourself to sink more deeply into your body, into the safety and the wisdom and the comfort that exists in your belly, in your solar plexus. So in through the nose, but opening up that heart space. Out through the mouth, sinking more and more deeply into your belly and letting it feel good. And if you want to move as you take this breath, listen to your body. Your body knows the path. Your body has infinite wisdom. So maybe you want to open up with every inhale. Open up, put your shoulders down, open up that chest cavity, feel that air come in through that heart space. And with every exhale, maybe you want to sink more deeply into your body with your movement and with your breath. There is no wrong, there is simply exploration. And allowing yourself to get calm, to get still, to feel safe. And to think about something that either makes you feel the feeling of love, the feeling of joy, the feeling of gratitude, and or the feeling of excitement. And as you think of that thing, feeling that energy, feeling those emotions in your heart, allowing yourself with every inhale to breathe them in. Emotion is energy in motion. Allow yourself, open your heart to feel love, joy, excitement, and or gratitude. And letting it feel good. They're the highest vibrations. They're from what we come. So therefore, they're allowed to feel amazing. And as you feel your divine right to feel those emotions, that energy, can you allow yourself to breathe in those feelings 5% more and feel 5% more enveloped with those higher love-based emotions and energies? How good can you let yourself feel? Remembering that this, when you feel like there's nothing you can do to contribute, this is an extremely powerful thing that you can do, and that also feels good. So there's no guilt with this, there's no shame with this, there's no judgment with this, there's just joy, empowerment, remembering the truth of what a powerful being you actually are. And in our last few moments of breath, having a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for the remembrance that we are not powerless. Gratitude for the remembrance that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is get still, get quiet, and allow ourselves to feel joy, to feel love, to feel grateful, to feel excited. Gratitude for the fact that that gets to feel good to us, even when otherwise maybe we wouldn't have been feeling so good. And in feeling good, we're actually doing good in the world. What a beautiful thing that is. What a beautiful truth. What a beautiful gift. And gratitude to you, from me, for showing up and taking these few moments this morning. Because you've just made the world a better place. You've just put out more hope and more love, which is the only thing that can overcome fear. And I am grateful to you for choosing that. When you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes, and coming back to the screen. And if you feel called, I'd love to hear how you're feeling. What did you access? What did you feel? Do you feel different from just 10 minutes ago? And so as we close out, I'm going to say it again. There are two energies there in our world. There is fear and there is love. Every emotion that we feel, emotion is energy in motion. Every emotion that we feel is either a fear-based emotion or a love-based emotion. There is no negative or positive emotions. What we do with our emotions can be negative or positive, but the emotion itself is simply energy. And it is either fear-based, which is lowest frequency, makes us feel the worst, or love-based, which is the highest frequency, makes us feel the best, the most expansive, the most open-hearted, the most joyful, the most alive. And the only thing that fights fear, we cannot fight fear with more fear, just like we cannot fight darkness with more darkness. The only thing that fights fear and wins is love. Love will always win against fear. Always. Always. Because it is a higher vibration. It just wins by default. And when you are in a moment of feeling like there is nothing you can do to contribute, maybe you're in a moment where you are watching pain and suffering, and you just wish that you could do more, and you're feeling helpless or you're feeling hopeless, the biggest thing, the most powerful and potent thing that you can do is to recognize if you are in a fear-based emotion, and if you are, to make the choice to get quiet, to follow your breath, to conjure a love-based emotion, and to feel into that and to amplify that and to allow yourself to feel so good by it. Because everything in our world is energy. Everything that is energy is frequency. Frequency carries information. So if you think that maybe there's a voice in your head that says it's selfish to do this, it is actually the most selfless thing, because what you are doing is you are putting love-based energy, the highest frequency, into the world, which is the only thing that can combat fear. And there are so many people who are in fear who don't know how much power they have in and of themselves to raise their vibrations and how powerful that is, but you know that. So by you allowing yourself to access those love-based emotions, to allow them to flow through you and feel good, you are, even in the simplicity of like sitting in your own space by yourself and doing this, you are putting love out into the world, and love is the only thing that can beat fear. So you are doing more positive and good than you might even realize in this moment. So my ask of you in that moment is simply to believe that you are, until you find the proof, which you will find if you believe. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. If you have questions about this, send them to me, DM me, message me, email me, whatever. I am accessible, and I would love to hear your questions, because then I can answer them in another morning live. Because if you're thinking about them, other people are thinking about them. So be the leader who actually poses them so that we can answer them. And it could be anonymous. It doesn't have to have your name attached to it. Okay, I am Melissa Agnes. This was another episode of Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, where you will find me every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, to provide you with one truth, one perspective that is meant to inspire and empower you and remind you of your power, and then one grounded drop-in to help you get into that power so that you can lead your day in alignment, in clarity, in connection, and in coherence. All right, I will be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'll see you there. I look forward to it. And in the meantime, whenever you find yourself in a fear-based emotion, no guilt, no shame, no judgment. It's very easy right now to do that. And to remember that you have the power to change that. All you have to do is breathe, get still, choose your thoughts, and feel into the energy and allow it to feel good. What a beautiful freaking gift that feeling good gets to be a gift that we give to the world, not just to ourselves. Oh my goodness. All right. Have fun with it. I'm wishing you a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern.